Then we go into pre-construction. That's when we engage the architects, the engineers, the designers.
So we do try to educate them when they are there, saying like, hey, if you have questions, let's wait until we have a meeting.
Less walls, less posts, less columns. They want to kind of be able to see through the house, researching and studying and the algorithms and when to post, what time to post, days to post. And
Do you guys know this Spider-Man meme?
Hello and welcome to Design Discussions with Nadine. I am Nadine and I have a co-host today, my partner in life and business, Emre.
Hi.
Okay.
Me here, the second host today.
And today's guests are Kristen and Cody, and they are the owners of Patriot Custom Homes. So thank you so much for joining us. This is going to be a fun little four-way conversation with everybody.
yeah,
Thanks for having us.
Fellow builders, this is a first for me to have another builder on. So I'm excited to talk about all the events, wonderful things and challenges that we go through
Do
as
you guys
builders.
know this Spider-Man meme?
Oh, what is it?
Builders.
I was like, is that the builder,
You're a
designer,
builder, I'm a builder.
architect?
I don't even know that.
This one.
Oh.
Well, some people may think, why did you bring another builder? Aren't they competitors? Things like that. Not only they're competitors, they live right next to us. So, but that's the beauty of this business. There's a lot of business to go around. And we don't see as competitors, but we see as, friends that we can collaborate with.
Support systems,
Support system,
right?
exactly.
We talked about that before. The more people that you know, the bigger the benefit it is in this business to be able to call you with questions or referrals or things like that, and vice versa. So we don't look at it as it's a problem.
Yeah,
It's a
100%.
benefit for everybody.
It's a benefit for everybody. Yep. Go ahead, Nadine.
So I want to talk a little bit about how you guys started the business,
Okay.
so that way everybody can get a good idea about, where you came from and where, how you got to where you guys are today. So let's talk about that.
Yeah.
You can start because that's your area.
So back in 2020, so it was like during a lot of the COVID, when COVID was kind of just happening, I was working offshore oil and gas, and prior to COVID happening, I was offshore a lot for long periods at a time. So as you know, we got 3 daughters. And so the time away just, after a while, it gets old. They're getting older. They got sports going on. They got, just personal things happening in their lives that I was missing out on, kind of like living through FaceTime. And so once COVID hit, the time offshore really spread out. So I was home a lot. And during all that time, we were just kind of bored, losing our minds. We became best friends with our neighbors. We were hanging out with them like every night and doing fires out back. But we started just kind of remodeling our house and doing things at home because I never really sat still well. And I guess once we kind of got through a lot of the stuff at our home, kind of started marketing in our neighborhood and Facebook group. Just for more things to do because I was bored. And then started getting some little projects around the neighborhood, doing some stuff for neighbors. And I think like the handyman service that we originally started as that's kind of where all of that was born from, was just right in our neighborhood. And then from there, I think we just...
Is that in Colorado?
No,
That's in
that was
Houston?
here.
Okay.
Yeah, that was here. We moved to Texas in 2017. But yeah, and so kind of just started turning that into like a little handyman thing. And in 21 is when I actually formed the LLC for Patriot Home Services, and created my own little Excel templates for proposals and all that sort of stuff. So I was really into it. And the project slowly started getting, more and more, even a little bit larger. And at one point we had a project that was like the biggest project I ever quoted out. I think it was like $7,000 or something like that for a little home project. But it was the first project where I was going to be bringing in some other trades. So, I felt like a big boy at that point. And so when that project was supposed to start, I got a call from my manager from the company that I was employed at, and I was supposed to go out November 17th to Houston to do some training for specific offshore stuff that we were doing. But November 17th was the day that this project was supposed to start. And so Chris and I had a pretty thorough conversation about,
It
like,
was
what
one
do
of
we do?
those, crazy paths. It's like,
Yeah.
which way do we go? Are we going this way or this way? And so for us, it was kind of a easy decision in some ways, but
Well,
It's
and
a
then we
fork
also-
on the road.
it was.
Yeah.
It was
Yeah,
definitely
very
a
much
fork
so.
in the road. Yeah. I mean, and one of the things that did make it easier was, she was working full time. She had a really good job that she was doing. So we had that backing, as kind of like a fallback, as well as like the benefits and everything. So it was somewhat low risk, but it was a job that I've been at for, 14 years or so.
It's scary to make the change and make the jumping, both feet first into something for sure. But
Yeah.
you have to have the faith in that it's going to work and you're going to put your all into it. And look at you guys now.
Yeah. Yeah. It
Pretty
does seem like
crazy.
forever ago. A lot
Yeah, I mean, and
since
then
then.
soon after that, then it just was one of these things where it's like our name was spread and then it kind of grew. And then I'm helping on the side and trying to manage, my full-time job and also helping the business, as much as I can. And it just became too much. So in 2023, I ended up leaving my corporate job to help full-time. And then that's really when we started incorporating designers and just kind of elevating it to another level. And, and then fast forward, it's been crazy ever since then. And now we're just even moving up from there. It's like we formed our business into an S Corp for Patriot Custom Homes. And now it's just, who knows where we'll go from here.
Yeah.
But it's exciting. It's been a roller coaster ride though.
Yeah.
Yeah, you kind of realize all the hats you have to wear and, really getting into business development.
Yeah, we
and
fine-tuned our
marketing.
process and we don't use Excel spreadsheets anymore.
Yes.
We have a Google portal and all of that. So
People always tell me, oh my gosh, I can't believe you work with your husband nonstop. I could
Yeah.
never.
yeah,
And I'm like, well, we work really well together and
We always work together.
and it's not like we're together 24/7. He's over here, I'm over here, he's doing
Exactly.
his thing, I'm doing my thing. So it's really not like we're not sitting in an office together nonstop, just
Yeah.
looking at each other.
and there's
Yeah.
of course going to be times when we're not going to see eye to eye, and that's just that's if he was my husband or a business partner,
It's
it
the
wouldn't
same.
really matter. And honestly, it's nice to have a partner that I trust and I know that it stands behind me and backs me up.
Who gets the last say?
Yeah.
That's the question. Who's
Depends.
Yeah.
okay?
Depends
And
on the
there's
subject.
conversation,
I mean, and that's kind of the thing too, right? It's like, so it was about 2 years of just me kind of doing it. Obviously, she was helping off to the side while doing her full-time job, but it was about 2 years before she left and came in. And then there was like this 3-4 month period of like, okay, I did all of this, now you're coming in. So like, what are you taking? What am I letting go of? So yeah, to that point, like who has the last say? I mean, I guess it really depends on what side of the business it falls on.
But I'm going to say one thing. She does something real good, and we talked about this. And I'm going to put it on the comments and, in the captions here. You run your social media very good.
Yeah,
Thank you.
You know,
she did.
it's always like whenever I open it up, Patriot Homes comes first. I'm like, okay, I have to go through their stories,
You
watch it
talk about
carefully.
Yeah.
And you put 10 of them a day. So it's not literally,
I
put
try.
a little allocate some time to watch your social media, but it's very good. And I like the new website too. We're going to also put that in the captions and comment section, and people can
Appreciate
see
that,
what
yeah.
a great job you do with that.
Yeah, and it is, she makes it look easy, that's for sure. But I mean, it is hours and hours of time. That's not just her putting stuff together. I mean, it's her researching and studying and the algorithms and when to post, what time to post, days to post, and it's
another
a-
full-time job.
It is a
Yeah.
full-time. I mean, that's why
Kind of
people
a
pay
creative
thousands of dollars a
element.
month to have somebody handle it, because it is overwhelming.
It is overwhelming.
So when
I'm
it
glad
comes
she
to
does it.
stuff like that, she is the boss.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
No, yeah.
She's
she's-
not allowed
I don't touch
I do
anything.
not like.
I don't even post on my personal page because I'm like, I don't want
He
it
just
to.
looks at it in awe too, like you
Yeah,
do.
he
I'm
likes
sure.
it. He
Yeah,
likes
I
it.
like it. I
You're
repost
good.
it. Like, things she puts out there, I'm like, hey, that was really good. Like, I really like that video. That was
I'm
awesome.
going to be honest. I saw one of your graphics months ago, and I sent it to our graphic designer, and I said, we were going to announce something. I said, I want you to do something just like what she did. And
that.
well, he changed it a little bit, of course, but it came out beautiful. People loved it. So I know you're talented when it comes to those graphic designs and all that. I know you do it in Canva, right?
Yeah, I use multiple things, but
Okay.
yeah, I mean, I just kind of play around with it and then,
They come out beautiful though.
oh yeah, appreciate it.
Now, let's talk about renovation trends that you see that clients are interested in. As we know, those things change all the time, but what have you been seeing that people are interested in incorporating in their projects?
Yeah, I mean, I would say a lot of our, designers are even pushing just timeless design. So things that kind of go, centuries beyond us. I would say we have a lot of people requesting, different types of cabinetry and woods. What are some uplifts that you're seeing too?
Well, I think in like a lot of spaces, whether, we're doing like a kitchen and a living room or even bathrooms, they want things more open. Less walls, less posts, less columns. They want to kind of be able to see through the house, have like a much, bigger, grander feel. And then things with cabinetry, I feel like that's kind of goes one way or the other. Some people still like, more traditional raised panel. And then, I feel like actually lately we've been kind of getting more like inset cabinet styles, a lot of beaded profiles, stuff like that. It's still clean, gives it details. Certainly seeing contrasting colors that complement each other in kitchens.
Less is more, sort of, as well. I know we've had a lot of people.
Yeah.
I've seen, of course, the shaker style was such a big thing.
Yeah.
And it still is, but I feel like you said, people are leaning now more towards adding to that.
Yeah.
A little bit elevated shaker or
Right.
getting away from the shaker completely and doing things like reeded doors, like we've done quite a bit. And then,
And we've been seeing like some glass fronts or antique mirror fronts. Countertops, I feel like a lot of people are moving towards natural stones. I don't know if granite is making a comeback, but we've been like a lot of people talking about granite.
Yeah. That's throwing me off a little bit.
I think it is.
Yeah.
And we just put it in an area of one of our projects in Kingwood, and it's beautiful.
Yeah.
It is. It really is.
We just did this one granite for an office of a friend of ours, and it was this Azul Bahia granite. I mean, it was like, I would not know it was granite, but it was gorgeous. So it's cool seeing stuff like that. I mean, working with different materials. Wallpaper is definitely making a comeback, and there's some beautiful wallpapers out there.
Everywhere. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hard to find good installers though.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Right.
That is true.
All those designers love their wallpaper.
They do.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it
I
really-
don't know a designer that does.
I know, and I can't remember a time when there wasn't some sort of wallpaper incorporated into a project when working with a designer. They love it, but I have grown to love it more and more too. There's some really beautiful wallpapers out there that make a huge impact in the space by adding that, whether it's even one wall or a ceiling or something like that. It's amazing.
Yeah, we're noticing that even in like the recessed ceilings, doing something like that, grass cloth, something similar to that. I'm like, wow,
Or even
it
like
makes a huge difference.
The
in
mural
space.
wallpapers that you can do too is neat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, what about designing for today, but thinking about tomorrow? So this is kind of piggybacking off of that last question is, what kind of advice do you give to your clients when they say, this is really not my forever home, but I really love this, but I want to also think about resale value. What do you say to them when they are giving, asking advice about what they should do in a space?
I mean, I think we rely heavily on our designers to like help with decisions like that. And we just kind of really speak from experience of like being able to build out what they want. But part of our conversation is definitely like what's going to bring in the best ROI. Obviously some clients have homes and projects that they can just spend on, and they really just want that final product. But we're always going to kind of give tips and pointers as far as what's going to bring the best return on investment, styles of cabinetry, whether, you go, stained woods, paint woods, types of flooring, and then just like general materials, even appliances, if they, should spend on appliances or if they shouldn't.
Yeah, that's a
That
huge
could-
conversation that we have in the beginning too when we're talking to them. How long are you planning on staying in the house? Are you planning on reselling at some point? Because all of that really matters. You know, one of prospect client that we just went to recently was like, no, this is where we're going to stay for the rest of our life, and you know, I want to invest, you know, good money into quality things. So then that kind of directs our conversation,
definitely.
you know. And if someone's like, oh, this isn't my forever home, that also directs our conversation too, because we're not going to want you to splurge on something that you're not going to get your money back on. It doesn't really do us, you know, service, and same to them as well.
Yeah, and we try to get, you know, all of those questions and everything kind of fine-tuned during pre-construction, which, you know, I'm sure, you know, everyone's kind of understands what pre-construction is, but that's where all of those questions get answered, you know, ahead of just starting construction and trying to figure out design and materials then.
Yeah. Now let's talk about a fun topic that we all love as builders, surprises and renovation projects.
Yeah.
We all love that, right?
Oh,
Of course.
Is that what we call them?
Yeah. Yeah. Not happy surprise,
Yeah.
but not always, or usually never. So yeah, I mean, this is a big challenge for our business too, when it comes to clients not knowing that there may be, and we usually tell them, you know, hey, you know, we're going to remove this wall. There may be this, there may be that, or, you know, there are mold situations. There's always something that happens. What have you guys seen that's kind of like, it's been a big surprise during some sort of project that you had?
Well, I'd say like in the beginning of our business, it was definitely walls. I mean, obviously walls, I think is probably one of the biggest things, especially when you're doing like a kitchen or a bathroom. And they want to do that big open floor plan. You open up a wall and there's a 4-inch trunk running through there, or, you know, a bunch of
We all ran into
home
that.
runs running through a fur down and gas lines or something. So, you know, I think in the beginning it was just something that, okay, that was an expensive learning lesson for the most part. We've never been big on doing like change orders for clients unless it's specifically something they're adding, right? But things like in a wall, if it was something I didn't think about, you know, we're usually probably just going to eat that. So definitely took time to learn that. But anytime we go into an older home, or we see fur downs in a kitchen, or I see a sink or dishwasher or something nearby a wall, or knowing what's above on a second floor. I mean, 2-story homes are definitely full of the most surprises. Yeah, I think it just kind of comes with, you know, the knowledge and the history of, I guess, going into these homes that many times and then seeing it. But yeah, those are definitely the biggest
Or a
surprises.
steel beam smack dab in the
Yes.
middle of the wall where they want to put the door into the bedroom. If you recall that project.
I don't remember that one. I don't remember which one you're talking about.
So I also want to get your guys' opinion on working in lived-in homes. We have a preference on whether we would like the client to live in there or not. It's easier for everybody if they don't.
Agreed.
But what would you say are the challenges or benefits? Because I mean, I see at least one benefit of the client living there while we're working. So what do you guys think about that? Challenges and benefits of the client living in the home while you're renovating?
I feel like in general it's more challenging than beneficial, but I mean, we understand that not everybody can leave their house, and so we're very mindful of that. So, you know, obviously we prepare the house, you know, to be mindful of protecting the environment and the space, to make sure if there's an area that we're not touching, that we're still making to take care of that area. But generally speaking, we like it if the client's not there, only because then we can just continue to work. We don't have them checking in when things aren't at that part, you know, and so we do try to educate them when they are there, saying like, hey, if you have questions, let's wait until we have a meeting, gather all your questions, because chances are those have already been addressed, you know, and we always like to say work in progress, you know, we're not there yet.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
we're not done yet.
I see one benefit, maybe the only benefit of the client being there is they're readily available all the time. If
That is true.
If we need
That is true.
something, so we can just pull them out of their office or something and be like, you know, whatever question we have, and that is, I think,
That's
a huge
the only
benefit.
one, yeah.
What do you
Yes.
think?
I agree. That's the only one, but is it worth it? Probably not. I'd rather have the house all by myself.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And like you said, moving around and being able to, work in multiple areas and not have to worry about it is good.
Yeah.
Common homeowner regrets. Do you guys see that there's any clients that have come to you and said, oh, I wish I would have done it this way, or, did something and they regretted it, or the other way around?
Yeah, I mean, even when we've started with new clients, I mean, they've come to us wishing they would have came to us before. So we did a project recently for a homeowner who they had already done their home addition, and then we were doing their attic conversion. They didn't have a good experience with the home addition contractor that they worked with, and like, well, we so wish that we would have worked with you. You guys were, organized. You were on time. You let us know what was going on. We didn't have questions. You already had the answers for us. So we deal with that, but also on projects in the very beginning phases. I do know that, sometimes we'd have someone like, oh, I wish I would have done this. So as we've grown and as we've kind of, figured out a rhythm, we've realized that adding that pre-construction portion of it has really helped our business, because we try to answer all those questions before we get into construction. So, especially when it comes to electrical and lighting and design, we want to fine tune those. So that way we limit how many issues that we're going to run during construction. And at the end of it, we're hoping that they're like, yes, you did everything that we wanted. We wouldn't change anything. That's always our goal, but it's been a learning lesson to get to that.
Yeah. And I wouldn't say, like at some points throughout the project too, maybe it's like upselling, but as we kind of progress into a project, things get opened up and we're moving and shifting around. And obviously at some points in the project, you may have to pivot a little bit. And so that kind of brings opportunity to propose maybe some new ideas or new configurations, adding or taking away something.
And usually they go with it.
Yeah.
Once they see what a clean job you're doing, right?
Right.
If it's going to be beneficial for the job or the house or, resale value, they usually want to make those changes.
Yeah, definitely. And so, throughout the project, you might take opportunities like that.
I think another thing we've incorporated more is making sure to really fine tune the renderings. And then also we started to do walk the plans. So walk the plans are, obviously when we're walking the space, so whatever the plans may be, that really helps the client see that visual. And then there's a lot of changes that happen. So we change architecture.
Over there by Authenticus?
Yep, that's who we've been using. We've used them a couple times, and honestly, we've made changes every single time we've gone. So it's been beneficial, and then I feel like that limits the change orders. It does make the price point go a little higher during pre-construction, but that's the whole point. I mean, that's what we're doing. So we're doing to fine tune that.
Cheaper to catch it in the beginning than
absolutely.
afterward,
And it's much less stress on everybody and the client.
Well, and it helps build excitement too for the project to get started for the clients as well. But yeah, I mean, every time that we've done it, we're going back in with some architectural changes, moving a wall a little bit.
Yeah.
And then also just kind of like fine tuning some of the design stuff, because it's cool because you can incorporate all of the materials that you have in the project. And so when they walk it, like they're seeing, virtual reality of what the project will look like.
Now let's talk about managing budgets and scope creep.
Yes.
How do you guys do that? And where do you see mostly where a budget blows up? Or if you've seen it, and what do you think about that?
So again, it's really during pre-construction for us, where we manage our budget. So, we'll meet with the client, we'll build out the estimate, and we'll build in allowances for materials, just kind of based on general knowledge of, what we think it's going to take to get them what they want. And then once they're good with that number and we're like, hey, it's going to be this like plus or minus, 10, 15%. Then we go into pre-construction. That's when we engage the architects, the engineers, the designers, we'll walk the plans and everything. And then so from there, we're like, okay, this was an original scope. This is additional and this is additional. Okay, we're going to remove this. And so by the end of all of it, our goal is to be within 10 or 15% of what that original estimate was during our pre-construction. So for us, it really helps eliminate a lot of the scope creep prior to getting into construction. Obviously, anytime after construction, everybody has been on the same page of exactly what we're doing, what materials we're using, how much. So, beyond that, it's really dependent upon the client.
And something that we also do add into our proposals is a contingency. So that way, and we are very upfront about that, just saying like, hey, there's going to be things that might come up. So that's anywhere from 5 to 10%. And that prepares them. It's not part of their proposal, but it's just something that they know that they can allocate those funds and they have it and they're readily available if we should need them. So, and it's just, that's how remodels work. So, you know, you just have to be prepared for them, you know, for the things you can't figure out.
Yeah, exactly. Well, in closing, you know, my famous question I always ask is a horror story that you would like to share for entertainment value for everybody, if you have one.
They have a lot, probably.
When I ask that to designers, they have some really good ones too. But I think being in construction, you guys probably have some real winners there too.
Actually, you know what? I'm going to tell one too after they tell their horror stories.
I think I would probably go to like a learning lesson that we had. It was one of our bigger projects at the time, kind of in the beginning that we had done. Lots of architecture and engineering. So it was kind of the first time we really engaged, you know, like the full scope of trades for a project. And after we kind of got done running through the estimates, getting everything signed off and ready to start, the conversation came up of, you know, the amount of materials, you know, design materials, tile, countertops, knobs, pulls, faucets, lights, that it was assumed that was all included. So between, you know, everybody that was involved, it was a very big miscommunication.
But we decided.
I really stand by, we really stand by what we put out there. And so ultimately we ended up eating all of that.
Oh, wow.
Which was a large cost.
It was a very big cost.
You know, hurt our return, but it was one of those things where, I mean, they had already signed everything. We felt wrong in doing and changing anything. So we just didn't make it clear. Yeah. Which was, again, a learning lesson, a hard one, but it was, you know, one of those that were like, okay, you know what, well, never again, you know?
Yeah.
So,
well, and, you know, everybody has gone through those things and things like that come up all the time where you're learning something.
Yeah.
Things change, you know, and you have to in order to keep going and, you know, make your client happy. And
we didn't want to
that's good.
tarnish the relationship with everyone involved.
we have a great relationship with them today. I mean, they still always commenting.
Yeah, which stuff like that is exactly why we do pre-construction. And then we also line item very clearly and verbalize it clearly of, you know, this is your allowance for these materials. This is what's allotted for that.
Yeah,
Exactly.
That's good. Now, what do you want? What do you want to add?
Yeah, let's hear it.
Mine is a very small horror story, but it's a job we're doing with a designer at the moment. And this client, we're done with the project, and she sends a text to Nadine, and she said, your guys didn't pick up their trash. Because we know our guys will never leave trash there. It will never happen. So the first question is always like, we said, okay, can we see a picture of this trash? Said trash that was never picked up. Sure enough, a picture comes and there is a nightstand box, bunch of styrofoam, things like that, which is not our trash, you know. So when Nadine told us to the client, they wanted to play it off like it was our trash, okay? So these little itty-bitty things really give a sour taste on which client, like that client we're never going to go work for again because, I mean, they know it's not our trash, but they're trying to pass it off as, hey, this is your trash, why didn't you pick it up? So we went over there and we told them, you know, we don't own a landfill. If you want us to haul off your furniture trash, we'll do it for the cost, you know, and then they're like, oh, really? Okay, then we'll pay for it. So little things like that.
Sometimes it's petty things, you know.
Yeah, that's the one that really bothers us. I mean, we have clients that we did work years ago, and they call us with itty-bitty stuff, and we will always take care of them because they never tried to take advantage of the people who work for them, not just us, but, you know, subs and trades and all that. Those people get our forever warranty. You know,
Yeah.
we will be there for you guys 20 years down the road. I don't care what my warranty says. But then these ones, they get the 365 days up until 12 a.m.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Like
We
like
were
I was
saying-
saying, what is it? You catch more with sugar than vinegar,
Exactly.
whatever. Catch more flies. It's true.
It is. It is.
You know, but I mean,
It definitely makes a difference long term. And I think the hard thing is too is so many clients or just people in general, you know, maybe have a bad taste in their mouth about contractors and general contractors, and I mean even maybe more so in the state of Texas. So it's hard to like change that
Mindset,
mentality
yeah.
and mindset of people.
Yeah. Agreed.
yeah.
But we try our best.
I know. That's all we can do.
Exactly.
Anything else to add?
No, I mean, I'm going to tell all the audience, you know, if they're in the market looking for a great remodeling company, you know, Patriot Homes right up here in Spring, right?
Yeah.
You can give them a call. They're a husband and wife team, just like you and me. Very nice people. Our kids go to the same school. So we're going to put all their contact information and give them a call if you need to.
We appreciate that.
Yeah. Thank you
Yeah.
for having us on.
And now we've made great friends.
yes, love
And
it.
so, you know, hopefully we can do this again.
Yes.
Maybe towards the end of the year, and we'll talk again about how your year went. So that
Yeah.
would be that would
was a
be
good
a
idea.
that would be a fun episode to do.
We're excited for 26.
Yes, 26 is going to be a great year.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Well, thank you, Kristen and Cody, so much for joining.
Appreciate you having us.
Yeah. Appreciate it.
And stay tuned for the next episode.